Checking gauge is really important, and I'm going to get into how important it is, but first I'll get down to the nitty-gritty of how to work it. I have this swatch knit here, and we're going to count the stitches per inch so that we know if we're getting gauge for the pattern that we want to knit. Each stitch you'll see here in stockinette stitch is a V, and most patterns call for gauge to be checked in stockinette stitch like this, which in this case was knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row. So I'm going to go ahead and put my needle in, put just a straight needle in between two stitches, like that. And then I'm going to take a ruler and measure out 4 inches. I'll put the needle in at that spot. Let me double check. Yeah, that looks good. And then I'll count the number of stitches between the two needles to know how many stitches I'm getting over 4 inches. Some patterns will give you the measurement for stitches per inch. Most patterns will tell you how many stitches you need over 4 inches. And to check row gauge, you do pretty much the same thing. You put your needle in between 2 stitches, measure out 4 inches, put your needle in and count the stitches between. Now, row gauge isn't really that important because most patterns won't tell you to, for example, knit for 8 rows. The pattern will tell you instead to knit for 3 inches. So it is important in some patterns, but stitch gauge is going to be a lot more important. Now, the last thing you want to do when you are checking gauge is that you want to wash and block your swatch. Some yarns kind of act crazy once they get wet, and you don't want to find this out after you've knit the whole garment. And so you're going to wash and block the swatch. You want to read what the pattern says for the number of stitches per inch that you're getting, measure like I have here. And the reason this is important is if you're making a garment, a hat, a sweater, something like that, socks, you want to get the right number of stitches per inch so that your garment fits like the designers did. If your tension is too tight, you're going to end up with something too small, and if it's too loose, you're going to end up with something too big. And it's a shame to put all that work into something when all you had to do was knit a little 4-inch square to find out if you were on track. Now, if your gauge is off and you're getting too many stitches per inch, for example, you want to go up a needle size so that you get fewer stitches per inch. If you are getting not enough stitches per inch, you want to go down a needle size so your stitches are smaller and you get more stitches per inch. I know that sounds backwards. Don't overthink it. It just is what it is. Anyway, that's how to check gauge and why it's very important.